around some of the agent selection and some of the strategies that Mix will execute on the upcoming map.
Now, we should see a very similar agent layout as we saw from them previously, and we do. So m1xwell is going to stay on the Jet. We saw Viper picked once today by m1xwell on Bind, but it's been all Jet ever since, though. Then Orb goes to the hard locking up Cypher, Kriya on the Omen, no surprise there. David P on the Sage as well. Everything seems to line up and make sense. On the opposite side, Rhyme is going to stay with the Reyna, so the Omen play is actually going to come in from Boaster. So Boaster no longer on the Jet as they need those smokes. We've talked about it before. Smoke control right now, the name of the game on Ascent. Sometimes you'll even see a Brim Omen, so you have the extra smokes just to guarantee you can gather up that control of mid. But we'll see what happens here in the pistol with Team ZeratoR starting on the defense. The dart's going to land just behind the Omen's head. That's going to push them back. Chihuahua with a nice peek and the dink shot coming down. Great damage dealt to 2 here on Team m1xwell.
Yeah, they'll still try to push through. I think Team ZeratoR maybe respecting their opposition a little too much, but already a couple of kills going over their way. Team m1xwell now, I feel like they've got a little bit more control of B site than they really know, so they'll start to make their way through, and ZeratoR now have to react.
ZeratoR back towards spawn with the Ghost. The team now joining him. The site's been lost, and the spike's been planted. The cam does put a dart into m1xwell. He'll back off and land inside the muck on the B site. Smoke's coming out here from both Omens on both sides. The bomb buddy doesn't do much, but there is some intel delivered by way of the recon dart. The pulses giving away the position of one over towards the boathouse. Vitinho able to find one. There's the skill coming in from the Reyna that results in a kill for m1xwell, but it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until it's down to just 2, Jibs and m1xwell. And Jibs able to win the fight. So it will be Team ZeratoR picking up the pistol, despite the fact that we saw m1xwell gain access to a very difficult to grab B site.
Yeah, and considering they started off with a plant on their first round, I mean, if that's going to tell me anything, it's going to tell me that m1xwell either know how to play Ascent, and they can play it well on attack, or they may be having a little bit of lack of respect for their opposition and just trying to win based on just gun duels alone. I mean, it's worked, you know, on Haven. They were able to just push onto sites, and with the gun prowess of m1xwell, Vitinho, and especially David P, they were able to get that job done. We'll see if they're going to rely on that prowess this time around. But off to a great start for Boaster. Takes down Kriya and looking for kill number 2 here in the mid-courtyard.
Great damage coming out early here from Team ZeratoR. Bringing it down to 1, it's m1xwell now, the team captain, trying to salvage what's left of the round with just a classic outside the B site. It's unlikely that anything's really going to happen. And m1xwell almost at a point of looking like he wasn't even there. The spike back towards spawn. m1xwell just wants to dedicate himself towards picking up that orb, at least guaranteeing that for himself. The missed shot from the camera gives away its position, but it doesn't matter. Again, just a pistol here in the possession of m1xwell. There's one in spawn already, one pushing through B-Link. It's pretty much over. The chokehold is being applied here by Team ZeratoR.
Finds himself behind the post office. Tries to keep things a little bit more interesting. If he comes out with a couple of kills, that'll really hurt the economy here for Team ZeratoR, and that's why they're really respecting m1xwell here. The classic able to take a couple of shots over towards the Reyna player, but actually won't connect with any, and it'll be Jibs that seals the deal on that final frag. A flawless round coming out from Team ZeratoR. And a great start on Ascent, a map that they really need to take the win here. But of course, if we remember, this is m1xwell's pick. So this is going to be up to them to really turn up the heat on the attacker side.
Oh, this is my spot.
I like this play from m1xwell. Are we going to see something creative here off this double box? There's the ult pop, and then floating along, gliding in as the Jet doesn't go for a second leap. Misses, though, and look at that. They just get crushed by ZeratoR's defense here over on the A site. The aggressive play coming out from the defense works out masterfully, as now it's down to just Vitinho. It was Kriya who died over on the B site, and Vitinho looking around, asking himself what happened.
It's one of those rounds that you, on any other map, would very likely be competitive, but clean sweep from the side of Team ZeratoR. Of course, there is still Coutinho that can make the difference, but another flawless round yet again, and that just really proves how difficult it is to push in through on Ascent. A lot of choke points, and mid is very open, so trying to funnel in through Ken's bench can really prove to be difficult, especially who's on the other side will very likely be an operator that is waiting to gun you down in the face. Boaster, though, with the Phantom going to get into that position, and now we'll see how Team m1xwell try to adapt. Of course, it is pistols for them, so look for that full buy in the round to follow, but they can definitely make this one a little bit expensive for Team ZeratoR.
Blinding.
Chihuahua playing up on Cat, trying to stop this player back in the B link. Again, reminder about this map, very defense-sided, so watch this first half and understand that a repeat performance could come in from Team m1xwell in the second half, but at least it's promising to see Team ZeratoR winning a lot of these individual exchanges in these one-on-ones. As I say that, m1xwell gets up a little bit further in mid with just a ghost, able to find one. The gun, unfortunately, tumbles down off the ledge, and as he goes to scoop it up, one was waiting for him. It's down to one. It's David P. He's been a hero before for the likes of Team m1xwell. Can he do it again?
Unfortunately for him, as he makes his way through the fish market, he will find himself on the opposite end of a couple of tripwires and a little bit of a camera. But good call on the rotation through mid, and tries to potentially make his way towards A. A slow orb over towards A might be a little bit more telling, but no one's there. No one's even close. And so trying to make short work of what he's got in this situation. Boaster with the operator. It's one of the things about here on Ascent. Oh, wow. Even a little bit of a tea bag. What is that, Earl Grey? Jeez, Boaster. Oh, my goodness.
I'm more of an English breakfast kind of guy. Gotta start the day right, you know? So the op on both sides. Boaster this time, though, with the Omen. That said, it didn't affect Kriya, who put in an all-star performance the last time we saw Team m1xwell playing on Ascent, where the operator proved to be very powerful for them. This time, Boaster kind of falling into a role maybe he's less comfortable in, though. We'll see if it has any effect on his use of abilities. Commonly using those jet skills to escape. Chihuahua with the wall in mid, but there you go. There's Boaster getting started with the operator, taking down the Sova. Fatinho going down. There is a dark cover down. Paranoia follows through. David P picking off Chihuahua. Kriya trying to work their way in towards that A site. But there's defense back behind the box and one up in heaven as well. Again, very difficult on the attacking side here.
A little bit more respect given over to Team ZeratoR this time around, considering, or sorry, Team ZeratoR over to Team m1xwell, considering the weaponry that they have available. Jibs here, gonna try to get into position, but unfortunately the blast back not working the first time. Tries again with the second. It'll connect onto m1xwell. Still one down below behind the ledge. The resurrection puts m1xwell back into the mix. That Sal's already tossed up. Bo's going to take down David P. It's still down to the 3v4. Make it the 2v4. And m1xwell got the spike in hand. Around the corner he goes. Jibs will take him down. And an unfortunate shot to miss. And Orb will be the last to fall. A 5-0 start here for ZeratoR. And they got to be feeling good compared to that last map.
This goes here. Oh, this is a nice spot.
Double op. I like this. Chihuahua, who again, all-star in that first series of the day, looked great, but has since been struggling. We haven't really seen that level of performance from Chihuahua again. So maybe the op is what unlocks it. Maybe that's the critical piece. They're going to go ahead and use the Owl drone in towards the B site, and they're going to scoop up the orb as well. There's Chihuahua with the op, delivering on the first kill of the round. Trying to slow down that push in towards the A site. You've still got the Cypher here but the Cypher is a little bit concerned about what could be coming that direction. They've already gathered up site control to a certain degree, but ZeratoR is still here, backed by the door controls. There's the knives coming out, a switch to the pistol for m1xwell. As the door gets shut, it's a 3-on-4, but the numbers favor Team ZeratoR.
Yeah, then you get the sweet take cooking. The Hunter's Fury going to make things that much more difficult. Patino finds one, can't tag on the third. 3v3, m1xwell in a great position, trying to keep things a little bit more interesting. And now Kriya off to the side, not trying to get spotted by this recon bolt. And in fact, phone around the corner they go. m1xwell as well. Going to clean things up. Chihuahua, the last one alive, but the dog back in the kennel. Patino takes him down. And it's Team m1xwell with their first round on the board.
Finally, m1xwell gets their foot in the door. Again, you know, being that this is a bit of a difficult uphill battle on the attacking side, it's surprising to see so many efforts towards that B site. The B site, we talked about it coming into this, has some serious choke points. Now, you do have mid access to B, but on the A site, you've got cat to tree room, and you've also got the long A approach. m1xwell going to boost up over the top. I love this look. Seen it a few times in the past. But no peek coming out on short, not at least initially. David P says, hey, that's cute and all. We've got the all backing me up, but I don't need him. David P has now found 3. Gets full control of mid. Is this going to be another David P 4K? It is. Will we finally see the David P ace? There's only one that remains. It's the Raze. It's Jibs over in the A site. And you know David P is like, please, let me have it. Please.
I mean, you're seeing the rest of the team back away. David P now, he's on the lurk. He's on the prowl. Looking for that last and final member. Unfortunately, the timing may not be in his favor, but he sets up a little tent here in the garden, now making his way over to the tree room. Unfortunately for him, the Raze is kind of playing ring around the rosy with the empty space between the A site, the garden, to be the focal point.
Comes the paranoia, the flash to slow things down.
m1xwell,
After the initial duel,
rightfully deserving
process. ZeratoR's been brought back from the
so around going over to Team m1xwell has to feel good, especially on the attacker side, and we're still so early.
Got m1xwell pushing up on short, looking for anyone that could be coming out of the backside of this play. As of yet,
That is a good little jump there for m1xwell. Did they just find that out? No.
after the Undertaker grabbed their teammate to the team, that they could be going somewhere else.
Yeah, and they'll start that push in through the tree room. Little do they know, behind your orb, there's a whole slew of players trying to make in their way through A. Kriya there, going to be the last point of contact. He's going to get easily taken care of by...
Obviously, it's going to be something that people are going to figure out, so not necessarily something that's always going to work, but you're going to see it pretty commonly. I like the shot there onto orb through the box. No spam coming in from the player that was in the B site, though, to do any follow-up damage. Again, we talked about this. There's that infamous, now famous clip of Hiko getting multiple kills through the wall with a sheriff. That wall, paper thin, so spam away. Reminds me of Dust 2B on CS 1.6 and Source. Here comes the attempted push up short. Kriya gets orbed off, so going to back off. Doesn't want to wander in with the operator. Initially had the pistol pulled, but decides to backpedal. And it does seem like, yet again, we're going to see a play towards the B site. Really surprising that we're seeing this many pushes towards B.
Poster waiting with the off, ever so slight lead, the jiggle from m1xwell. Neither of them will land their shots, and around the corner, Patino will seal the deal. The spray from Chihuahua unfortunately finds no one. Spray through as well to look for one final more. Rhyme here, now in the back of sight, feeling the pressure from the team, starting to pinch through. It's Orb that'll be taken down first. The resurrection on Patino puts him back into play. And Team ZeratoR are struggling to find an answer. They've got the retake here now up on their to-do list. Jibs finds himself taken down. David P as well with the 3K. Pretty standard round for Team m1xwell. They're making attack look a little bit more bearable on Ascent, considering we have 4 more rounds left in the half.
Yeah, not too shabby. If I'm not mistaken, how many rounds? I think it was 3 rounds. Wasn't it a 9-3 half when they played against Draken on Ascent earlier, with Draken getting 3 rounds on the attacking side? I want to say that was in fact the case. So we'll see the pistols coming out here for Team ZeratoR. Seems like a likely round win coming in for Team Mixwell based on the purchase. You're going to have sheriffs across the board. You do have 3 ults, the Reyna ult. You've got the Omen teleport, and you've also got the Cypher ult coming in as well. But as I say that, 2 players go down almost instantaneously, and the Neural Theft is actually going to come out from the attacking side. I like the read, the awareness there from Chihuahua, knowing that after that Neural Theft came through, likely was going to see a push, so just holding an angle for it, waiting, but it doesn't matter in the end, as ZeratoR is the only one left standing over on the A site, gathering up the tripwires that were laid down and just looking to possibly rip a gun away from someone on the attacking side.
Fortunately, it would be Kriya that rips his heart out of his chest, takes him down, or rather his head, rather. And Team Mixwell, they're catching up. It's a 5-4 half already. And while ZeratoR had every right to continue that momentum, Mixwell, or rather Team Mixwell, they put a stop on that early. Of course, that was just the eco round. And you rarely see an eco round from the defense on Ascent, but that one's got to hurt, especially when you swap over to that second half. ZeratoR, I think, will likely struggle. So they need to make these rounds matter.
Early intel over on the B site as one goes reeling after being spotted out by the Owl drone. Yet again, David P strikes first. We've seen it time and time again. David P seems to control Catwalk quite easily. The orb's going to shatter the glass and land on the other side. Chihuahua, his counterpart on the other side, his doppelganger, playing Heaven, can't get the Phantom under control, and that's a problem as there's now multiple members of the attacking side swarming the site. Meanwhile, you've got 2 over on B, and there's 1 on Catwalk. This is a little bit strange as Jibs gets into a fight with them, but it goes down to Mixwell. Rhyme chimes in with the operator, spots his teammate trying to work over through short. Down is Rhyme, and it's all up to the last 2 left standing. Chihuahua goes back, picks off Mixwell, starts to demolish the door, and now that we have ourselves a 2-on-2, the res is going to come thing and tip scales in favor of Team ZeratoR.
Oh, this retake has been so good. David P, though, the last one standing the barrier. Orb going to make it a little bit more difficult. Around the corner, they'll peek, and it's Chihuahua taking down the man in the mirror. David P will fall victim to the spray from Chihuahua. Another round back on the board for ZeratoR. All they needed was a little bit of an eco to put them back into the swing of things. But still, 2 rounds remain, including this one in the half. So Team ZeratoR, their likely scenario, you know, will be an 8-4 half. But Team Mixwell, I feel like on attack, on Ascent, your dream is 6-6. I feel like that is, I mean, your dream should obviously be 12-0, but I feel like for attack, 6-6 is a dream, a distant dream, usually for competitive Ascent.
Early play in mid. Oh, Boaster pulls off just as the peak was potentially coming through. It was the Cypher who was jiggle peeking, but in that shuffle of positions has found one back on the other side of this wall. David P tried to get aggressive with that wall. We've seen him do that on maps like Bind, boosting up over the short boxes, but it doesn't work out so well. Kriya sneaks into the backside. The Arch is inside the muck. The rocket's going to come out from Jibs, and the showstopper does stop the show for Orb. Fatino manages to pick one up, though, with the Vandal. Again, even strength 3-on-3, a lot of chaos, a lot of back and forth action across various points on the map. But the spike lost, and that's the big problem. It's been dropped in mid, and now trying to get back towards it is going to be difficult. There's a wall down, so Mixwell pops the ult and is running in knives first, trying to lead the charge to pick that spike back up.
The most important thing for them if they want to squeeze this one out. Be even more difficult in the upcoming round. Jibs with the pre-fire spray through the smoke will find one. Fatino will answer back, and now the 2v2, but still, they hold on to that spike. They'll finally end up picking it up, and this is where I call the rotate either towards A or B, you know? Team ZeratoR are going to try to keep their eye on the spike. Around the corner they go, and it's Chihuahua through the smoke, makes the hero play, and puts one back on the board there for Team ZeratoR. I mean, at that point, you don't continue to push forward, you pull back, and you rotate to one of those sites, but unfortunately not going to be the case here for Team Mixwell.
Let's take a look at the replay as well. Chihuahua right around the corner, just a 1-2 right after the other. They just line up Not quite as nice as the highlight we saw from Kriya early on this map, the collateral that came in with the op on an attempted long A push where he was playing Heaven as the Omen, delivering a shot to the skull and the chest of the one behind, but still not too shabby. m1xwell was leaning towards A heavily here. Again, it feels like B has been where they found most of their success, heavily getting into that B site. But this time around, they're going to go towards A. Kriya playing with that dark cover and the ult, having fun right now with the defense. Rhyme back behind the generator, does manage to escape, using that invis and that invulnerability to get away. But now the site's been lost. The spike should be planted momentarily. The satchel comes in to do additional damage. Follow-up satchel as well. The red's coming out.
Wow.
Kriya picking off ZeratoR on Heaven. There's one coming through from short. It's Boaster going down. David P chimes in with one of his own. m1xwell with the follow-up at the end. 7-5. Strong first half coming out from Team m1xwell.
Oh, 7-5 is your score line at the halftime. Moving into the next half, it will be now Team m1xwell swapping over to defense, and something that we've talked about time and time again, especially in the previous maps that we got to see Ascent. It's very defender-sided, so now Team m1xwell, they'll have their pick of the litter and have some fun with the offense. See how Team ZeratoR react. Do they have some executes or strategies that can net them a few rounds? Ideally, they would have loved more rounds at this point, but they don't have a lot to work with, and I think Team m1xwell catch up quite quickly.
Pings going out here as the pistol round kicks off. They're moving towards this A site using the cyber cages to try to get in. Orbs hiding inside a cyber cage. A lot going on the site right now. David P manages to pick up 2 before falling. Orb did great damage but couldn't find one of his own. Fatinho has delivered with a shot through the wall onto the stage, so that's the heals gone. And it's a 3-on-2 advantage here for Team m1xwell.
m1xwell has to break down the door, and he's going to do it with the sword. I feel like it'd be a little bit more satisfying, but only gets 2 whacks, and now it's about to go down. But in goes Boaster. Unfortunately, not going to pan out too well for him. Now it's just Jibs fighting in hell, and his demons will get the best of him. Another round going over Team m1xwell. Very, very rough stuff if your Team ZeratoR, starting to fall apart at the seams, it feels like. And to give you a little bit of an update on the other side, it is Team Draken that'll come out on top with a clean 2-0, 13-6 to scoreline of the second map. Now all that remains is the match at hand. Team Draken, of course, now 2-1 in the groups. See if it is going to end up being 2-1 apiece for these two teams.
Deep breath.
Not entirely surprised by that performance there. That does statistically eliminate Team Arch. So that means at this point, Team ZeratoR has already made it through into the playoff stages. It's just now trying to determine what position they'll be in. Same with Team m1xwell. If Team ZeratoR can pick up the victory here on Ascent, certainly possible. Orb and m1xwell getting involved in the action early, 1:13 on the clock, and it's down to just 2 players remaining here on Team ZeratoR. You've got the Cypher and the Raze, and they're both towards long A. The tripwire goes in, spots out ZeratoR, and now the last one standing is right around the corner. It's an easy pickup for Orb to end the round. 3 players survive. Even a tripwire makes it out. We're tied up at 7 apiece.
Oh, if I'm Team ZeratoR, I'm starting to shake in my boots. You know, Ascent scorelines definitely don't look 7-5 as often, but maybe that is starting to be the shift as the attacker side find more and more strategies to keep things a little bit more competitive against the defense. It should currently feel like a defender-sided map, and Team m1xwell starting off hot. Kriya here with the operator, going to continue that momentum, hopefully in favor of Team m1xwell, but for the side of Team ZeratoR, little do they know, on the opposite side is a scary gun. They'll look towards from mid for control to start us off.
Deploying drone.
Early part of this round.
The Owl will spot the Raze out over in B link. Shock dart going in. Does connect. So good damage dealt to the Raze early on with just a single shock dart and the Owl. follow-up dart. This one's going to be the recon,
There they are.
trying to see if anyone's out in mid already. There is one. Make it two. They spot two on that charge, that pulse coming out from the recon dart. You've got two players here. You've got m1xwell right around the corner, playing close with the Spectre. They anticipate a close play. You can see the spam already coming through. Will they peek and be prepared for this, though? Doesn't look like it as of yet. Nice paranoia coming out. Does a lot of work to blind a little bit of both sides, but the dart cover is down on mid, and it's a little bit passive play right now coming in from Team ZeratoR. They're just now starting to work their way up onto long A and up short as well. There's the peek coming in from Orb. Had a possibility to find the second, but just couldn't quite get the SMG under control. David P also comes up empty-handed. The A-side defense falls flat on its face. It's down to 2 here for the side of m1xwell.
Get the guns you need, and you start to make things work. For Team ZeratoR, hopes and dreams are still alive.
Cover going out.
It is up now to Korea and to m1xwell. Try to turn things back into their favor. Of course, 2v3 going to be very difficult to deal with. The showstopper not even going to tag Korea, and now can safely back up. Up now to heaven. The shot is clean from Boaster, and m1xwell now down to him and his Spectre. He's got the full armor, but up against 3 and a closed door. Going to be difficult for him to maneuver his way through. Not down and out quite yet, and going to try to still get the ninja defuse maybe, or just pick up the weapon. A good call, getting that operator back into play in the following round. Team ZeratoR back in the lead, putting us at 8-7. Bach, got a feeling this can be a close one.
I mean, that's a big round coming out from Team ZeratoR. Just unfortunate that m1xwell couldn't quite make the impact necessary there for his team. David P currently at 15 kills alongside m1xwell. On the opposite side, it's Jibs, who's actually doing quite well. Not to say that Jibs is a bad player, just again, kind of like m1xwell in some of those earlier games. More of a background performer, just sort of kind of lurking in the shadows, doing well, but not doing great enough to be highly profiled like we had with Boaster and Chihuahua. David P getting aggressive. I like the look. The aggressive play coming in. There's an orb going down to try and enhance this push. Nice satchel coming out. And the boost up over the slow orb as well. Great look coming in from Chihuahua, who's starting to come alive yet again.
2 early kills here for Team ZeratoR. I mean, they have their relative pick of the litter where they want to go. Difficult to split the defense across so many points of entry. Team ZeratoR deciding to look up towards Catwalk and potentially end up in on that A site. Tripwire going to be there, likely to spot them out. Korea misses a crucial op shot, which could have turned things back into their favor. But now they'll start that push in. Fatinho going to be there as well. Korea finds himself looking down into a little bit of paranoia. Team ZeratoR, they're biding their time. They're taking it slow. A couple of shots early for Fatinho, not going to connect. Now opens up the A site. The spike going to go down, and it's up to 2 here now for Team m1xwell.
And this is going to be a save. m1xwell's looking for that potential lurking player waiting in mid, and there you go. Just a quick tap to the side of the head sends ZeratoR into a deep, deep sleep. You know, there is a very real possibility we are going to a third map. And then it'll be interesting. That third map could end up being Bind, which we know m1xwell's team has had issues on, but still at the same time played well when we've seen them other times. Or we could be going to Split, which that's a whole different beast in and of itself. So this could get real interesting if we do make it to that third map.
Nice.
Because if Team ZeratoR wins this series, that is a 3-way tie for first place. And that first place position is huge. While all 3 teams make it into bracket play, the top seed gets a bye straight into the semifinals. You're guaranteed top 4.
And if anyone I know is going to want to be in that advanced position, it's going to be Team Draken. They want that mustache off. Carlos, if you make it to the grand finals, just send you a friendly reminder. Stash goes. So Team Draken obviously want to be in that driver's seat, but for the side of Team m1xwell, don't think they're going to want to let that happen. So still fighting alive here, 9-7. The scoreline still has the ability for Team m1xwell to try to turn things back around, but seeing Team ZeratoR in a completely different look, it's very exciting. See them try to run it back here. Going to be at the hands of Team Mixwell, who are looking to defend. 3 already on the B side. Fatinho with the Sheriff finds 1, and it's Chihuahua down. Still 4 members remain.
We hit the minute mark, and action is still developing. David P with the Sheriff, cutting down this attacking force to even lesser numbers. ZeratoR finally responds for the team that bears his own name. Prime watching the push back into spawn. There's the ult leap coming out from Mixwell. Some damage dealt, but does not finish off the heavily damaged ZeratoR. The Cypher right around the corner with almost no HP. It's down to a 2-on-1. Fatinho knows where this raise is at. The missed shot coming in from Kree. No! Kriya had an opportunity, but Jibs somehow survives. Team ZeratoR finds themselves on double digits, almost losing to a round that should have been much easier to win.
Yeah, that's got to hurt economy-wise. Of course, Jibs finds himself in a great position, gets himself kills. Yeah, that's the hero play, but look at the economy down to the triple digits for a couple of those members. They're going to feel good about their buy now, but if they come out on the bitter end of this upcoming round, may not bode well for them for the rounds to come. Mixwell, of course, want to put one back on the board. They had a lead, or they tied it up shortly, but since then, ZeratoR has been in the driver's seat. The ball is in their court, but can they take it to the hoop is going to be the question. So far, poised and looking towards the B site in the early part of this round. Mixwell poised up again, set up across the map, and it's Mixwell who backs away, giving a little bit more control towards Pizza and Kench.
I have retrieved the spike.
Rhyme takes care of the drone flying over on the site. Boaster, again, we've seen this Omen ult into that back side of the site, inside the arches in the muck. And it works out yet again, but it's cut down a little bit quicker. G2 Mixwell, my goodness, you can see why he was signed. Mixwell hitting a dirty second shot with the operator, as Fatinho also helps out by connecting with the Hunter's Fury. It's now on Rhyme. Rhyme's got himself that ult popped on the Reyna, but the spike is down inside the market. This was an impressive stop from Mixwell with the operator. Rhyme trying to bring it back, though, for Team ZeratoR.
Talked about the repercussions of this map if Team ZeratoR are not able to clutch this out on the shoulders of Rhyme. It spell bad news for the rounds to come. The economy won't be in the greatest shape, so very important that Rhyme takes his time. But unfortunately, Mixwell says, time's out, time's up. Now it puts us at a 10-8 scoreline. Mixwell back in the driver's seat, looking to try to tie things back up 10-10. They can definitely look to do so with the economy coming up. Does not look like Team ZeratoR will have the weaponry to play. Having a quick look at the replay, Mixwell just one after another. And Fatinho to follow up. Super, super well done.
That was so fast. Literally, the shot hits, and instantly you see that slide out. It was like almost the same second that the bullet lands. I mean, that's just crazy. Mixwell here, though, doesn't even get an opportunity to fire. Gets dropped so fast. And you can see Fatinho doesn't want to give up control. Oh, no, the timing. He actually let Rhyme in to scoop it up. Saw or heard the nade coming in and got a little concerned. So now Fatinho's gone over towards Pizza. Doesn't realize that apparently that bomb buddy has got off-road wheels. So it goes up on top of the boxes and does significant damage. Kriya is here at least for some follow-up, some backup, some support. And now the last one left alive. It's a fake port. No surprise there. We've seen that time and time again. Boaster tries to dupe him, but no one falls for it. It's 10-9 now. We are almost tied up.
Whew. Team ZeratoR, they're shaking in their boots. They have been for the past, half how this has unfolded.
I need this.
They've got the weaponry to play this time around. Boaster with the operator. Now they're going to be trying their hand on potential A push here. To be quite honest, it has been one of the very few pushes that has worked. B has not worked at all. And A has been the ticket for them to make it through. And based on the positioning from Team Mixwell, they don't really have the setup. Of course, they've got the dark cover that goes through, but they've already made it past that. But an early rotate from Fatinho is going to be a little bit more even in the odds.
Kriya gonna have a tall task, as is the Sova here, Fatinho. They send that Owl drone through, not gonna spot anyone. Nope. Manages to turn back and knows there's two coming in. At this point, they anticipate the push is coming from that direction. So here comes the paranoia, the flash to slow things down. The flank doesn't work out so well for David P after the initial duel. Kriya does at least get one, but got dinked in the process. ZeratoR's been brought back from the dead by Chihuahua. So just like that, we see the numbers back at even strength. You've got m1xwell pushing up on short, looking for anyone that could be coming out of the backside of this play. As of yet, they haven't fully committed to A, so this is the right call. After the Undertaker grabbed their teammate from the depths of hell and pulled them back into the realm of the living, things got a little bit interesting. They decided to slow things down. Look at this ult coming out. Interesting ult from Kriya, just going for intel. Literally just going for intel. Cancels it after spotting only one player there. Makes the call to the team that they could be going somewhere else.
Yeah, and they'll start that push in through the tree room. Little do they know, behind your orb, there's a whole slew of players trying to make in their way through A. Kriya there, going to be the last point of contact. He's going to get easily taken care of by Jibs. m1xwell not even able to take one for the money, one for the road on the operator. All up to Fatinho now. Recon bolt, not sure it's going to be that helpful. Takes one, but still there are two more that remain. Can get this done, but the showstopper going to tell us that it's going to be too little, too late. Jibs sends one flying, and they are one away from map point.
David P, yet again, hits 20. Now, this feels like, what is that, 3 maps in a row that we've seen David P hit 20 total? Maybe even 4. David P just consistently performing for Team m1xwell. But on the opposite end, got to give credit to Jibs. Jibs kind of coming in as maybe a dark horse in this map, stealing away that top performer performance, potentially grabbing one of those MVP points. It would be the first for Jibs. ZeratoR, they're down by 1 in the series, but they're up by 2 on the map. m1xwell taking down that top performer, Jibs, as Jibs went for a bit of a boost up with the satchel. It doesn't work out so well. So just like that, we see one fall early, and that's a difficult piece to lose this early in the round.
A little bit of intel gathering from Fatinho, sends the owl drone through the fish market and actually triggers a tripwire, which has to feel bad for the side of Team ZeratoR. They will now make their way through the courtyard, potentially going in through catwalk towards A, but does not look like that might be the case. But they're a little bit more spread out, trying to find their way through, setting up a couple of smokes to make things a little bit more easier for them to push through. But that will be the fake of utility. And A is still going to be the ticket for them. They love the site. Seems to work out well for them. And on the site is David P and Kriya, ready to defend.
Look at this play from David P. Look at this play from David P. David P on the flank. Spots one. He's like, wait, how is this happening? They've actually made it onto A? I love it. David P almost doesn't get the gun out in time. Switches to the Vandal as his target starts to turn back. A bit of a peculiar happenstance over on the A site. There's the wall going in that forces them into a position where you can spot their feed if you're up on top of the boxes. m1xwell pops the ult and tries to leap over the slow orb. It doesn't work out so well. Another slow orb coming in. m1xwell wants to just dive in, and there's the first one right to the face of Chihuahua. Rhyme chimes in with the Phantom, going to be backing off towards short. Tries to get around the corner, instead just gets ducked into that corner. And now it's down to a 1-on-2 with Rhyme on site playing this one so masterfully, disappearing, slipping in and out of reality. 12 rounds now on the board for Team ZeratoR. They are one away from forcing a third map that we honestly didn't expect to see based on that first map.
I can't wait to see this replay of the actual round unfolding. Of course, m1xwell gets that early kill onto Jibs. I was hoping to see some of that Reyna play because it was really Rhyme that made that round a possibility. As you called it, slipping in and out of reality. Unfortunately, not able to come out back on top for Team m1xwell. Orb, the last one standing, had to deal with too many angles, too much to work with. Now moving on to the next round. It is map point here for Team ZeratoR. The dream is very much so alive, and we have to remember, this is Team m1xwell's pick of map. And they're not doing so hot as they're up against the ropes.
m1xwell again, playing on the planners next to the Kench bench. David P sees the ice broken on his wall, peeks out, sends some shots through the box. Does connect. So ZeratoR is very low on HP. Right now it is Team m1xwell with the man advantage. Rhyme is forced to watch the round play out. Boaster, the op right now, back towards mid behind the stairs. I like this play over towards B. You're not really seeing it, but you're hearing it. That's Vitinho with the Ares spamming the wall into B. Again, we talked about this. Paper-thin walls in that B site towards B main. So that gun may be a bit awkward and uncomfortable, but it should have worked out better for Vitinho. I believe they did the Sage Wall boost up into the vent that sees over into the site, and Vitinho was not prepared for it. There's the camera coming out as well. Now Orb's position sold out, has to find a better angle. Trying to sneak over into the cubby, manages to get there just in time as m1xwell offers up some smoke support. Chihuahua with the res onto Rhyme, that's a big one as well. But m1xwell's popping off right now with the Phantom, that's 2 kills. Do they anticipate Orb around this corner? It looks like at least the spike's gonna get dropped, but now there's just too many players coming in from too many angles. It's a 1-on-2 over on the site. The support from the Omen not arriving in time, but the clock has expired.
Wow.
Team at m1xwell just waits it out long enough and hits double digits as well.
Still map point here for Team ZeratoR. We cannot forget that. If they have a good enough round, they can just close this out. But look at m1xwell, just frag after frag. They just funnel on in. And he bakes him a cake. 24 kills to his name. David P not too far behind, 22, really competing for those MVP points. And even if Team m1xwell come out with a loss here, I can only imagine that their combat score is greater than anyone on the side of Team ZeratoR. So I have to see what's going to end up happening here. A couple of, you know, not the greatest of buys for the side of Team ZeratoR, and that's why Jibs is leading the charge. He's pretty much a sacrificial lamb. But they're looking towards B once again.
The tripwire giving away the position as they try to make their way in. m1xwell on the backside of site. Boaster has managed to sneak their way over towards the spawn. m1xwell still surviving back here in between the arches, buying time for the team to try and get into the defensive position. You've still got Orb up on top of the boxes. m1xwell somehow survives for now, and it actually works out well for Team m1xwell. 3 players survive. Chaos again on the B site. Team ZeratoR now have one more opportunity to close out this second map and force it into a third one before going into overtime.
Look at the money. Look at the credits. They don't have anything. At this point, you obviously force up because in that last and final overtime match, you know, the economy, of course, resets, giving everyone, I believe, 5,000 credits. But Team ZeratoR don't really have the weaponry to play, so they can't close this out, and it will likely go to overtime. But there's still the X factor of doing some damage, catching Team m1xwell by surprise. They're looking to do so with the setup on the A push.
By the way, just got confirmation. The third map, should we need it, will be split, and ZeratoR gets to choose their side.
Ooh.
So that is rough. So ZeratoR can actually close this one out. They'll get the start on the defending side on split. Somehow David P goes up on top of the wall. Was not anticipating that play coming in from Rhyme. Great paranoia to push Kriya out of position. m1xwell doing everything he can from inside the site, eventually falls. This round is going way better than you would anticipate for the likes of ZeratoR. Kriya up on high. 1-2 for Kriya. It's now down to 1. It's ZeratoR, team captain. 1v3 with just a sheriff in his possession. The spike dropped on site. First shot's right on the money, but that's it. We are going to overtime. 1 round, 5,000, just to see who's going to be making it out of the map victorious.
Oh boy, overtime here. Having a look at that replay, I just cannot believe it has gotten to this point. Both teams really showing how the offense can cook up. 12-12. It all comes down to this. Like you said, can Team ZeratoR take us to map number 3, or will Team m1xwell clean up shop, get the clean 2-0, and move on to be the team that gets the early advancement over towards the semifinals? We're about to find out. An operator on Boaster unfortunately has to buy the light armor. Doesn't likely have the utility either, considering that expensive buy. But that is something to note, because that can do some damage if used well.
Oh, David P. David P is feeling it right now. Wants to get aggressive. There's the paranoia lead in. I love the play, but no, it does not work out well. That means Kriya is alone on the site. And if I were Team ZeratoR at this point, I would start backing off. Take that early advantage. Force a rotate out of your opposition. But they seem content to continue towards the site. There's still 2 players here. Kriya, from inside the site, actually manages to pick off the operator player.
Oh.
The dink shot, not enough. Kriya's still alive. But there's Jibs with the follow-up. Things working out at least a little bit here for Team ZeratoR as they try to get onto the site. Orb spots the spike. That's huge. Jibs goes down with the spike. What was going on there? So now the remaining 2 players, there's one at least coming in from the flank. Rhyme coming in through mid, flanking from spawn. But they lost spike control. That's massive.
Oh boy, here comes Rhyme. In and out of existence. Down to the 2v2. Continue around the corner, sees the jiggle peek. It's not going to be enough. Around the corner he goes, and it's Rhyme that's taken down. All up to Chihuahua. The underdog coming out of the doghouse up to the 1v1. Chihuahua versus m1xwell. The spike's been picked up. 25 seconds left on the clock. And it looks like Chihuahua might be headed over towards B, but looking up into heaven. Gets the headshot. Catches m1xwell with his pants down. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to map number 3.
I almost knocked over my